My name's Leena Gade and I'm a race engineer for Audi Sport Team Yoast. I'm responsible for making sure that the car functions properly at the track, leading a team of 5 engineers, between 8 and 10 mechanics and 3 drivers. When I was quite young, I wanted to become an engineer. I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I became interested in engineering just purely because my parents had encouraged myself and my 2 younger sisters to repair the toys that we broke. That was mainly it. I got interested in Formula One with my sister Tina, who's 3 years younger than I am, and we just got hooked. The challenge in motorsport and in engineering is one that exists for both girls and boys. You do have to be good at maths and physics, and you do have to have an interest in them. Engineering as a career, the hardest thing if you're a woman is you are a minority, and there's no two ways about it. On my course, there were 100 students and only 5 were women at the beginning. And that statistic hasn't really changed very much over the last 10 years or so. I think it's improved slightly, but it hasn't made the radical advances that I guess we would want. Motorsport, again, incredibly male dominated. I'm the only female engineer on the team. The only hurdle I'd say, or the only challenge that I found, was actually the one that I thought of on my own. I didn't want people to judge me when I made mistakes as being a woman that made the mistakes. You have to be a little bit tough-skinned. The way I handled it, I tended to seek out advice if I didn't know things. And this is something you typically find in motorsport, that people will often not actually ask for advice if they need it because it's seen as a kind of ego thing that you should have known it from the beginning. I did actually learn the hard way on a couple of occasions. There were 2 races where the car ran out of fuel. Anyone could have made that mistake, but I was particularly annoyed by the fact that I'd done it because it was really simple mistakes to have made. And ultimately, as a race engineer, when you're in charge of a car, if you make mistakes like that, and especially when you do it the second time, you should be fired. And I was kept on, partly because we didn't have too many other alternatives for replacing my position, but also because I hadn't really given myself a good chance to sort it all out. And the next race that we did was Le Mans in 2011, and my car and my team won. So, I rectified it that way round. Once you get past that point, it's actually a very rewarding career to have. You get to use your ingenuity. You're presented with a problem, and it's about how you resolve it, not just the way you go about doing it, but what your ultimate solution is. I would say I'm my own worst critic, but you kind of have to be, because otherwise you just don't progress and you just don't learn.